Okay, so I'm sat here with Marcus Brigstocke. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm all right. We were supposed to do this an hour ago, but I was really late and you've been very patient. Thank you.
It's fine. So I thought it'd be good if you started with a few quick fire questions, so either or.
Okay.
Just so we get to know the real Marcus, because it's the first kind of thought that comes into your head.
Okay.
So are you ready? No pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, so beach or city?
Beach.
Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Oh, Domino's.
Elton John or Alice Cooper?
Elton John, saw him this year. Awesome.
Morecambe and Wise or the two Ronnies?
Actually, two Ronnies. Morecambe and Wise were better, but I grew up on the two Ronnies, so that's the honest answer, and they mean so much to me. I loved them.
I like how much thought went into that.
Yeah, so much.
Bungee jump or roller coaster?
A roller coaster.
Salt and vinegar or cheese and onion?
Salt and vinegar, obviously. What? Just appalled to discover cheese and onion is the nation's favourite crisp.
I
don't get that. I do not get that. How can that be?
Oh, I don't know. I dabble in both.
No,
so.
Yeah, sure.
Salt and vinegar one.
We all dabble, but salt and vinegar takes it.
Oh, right. Mashed or roast?
Roast.
Catwoman or Wonder Woman?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Ghostbusters or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, Ghostbusters.
Happy or sad ending?
Happy ending. Yeah.
Tommy Cooper or Charlie Chaplin?
Tommy Cooper.
Sunday roast or cooked breakfast?
Sunday roast.
Beer or cocktail?
Neither. Don't drink.
Fair enough. Dog or cat?
A dog. By miles.
Red tops or broadsheets?
Broadsheets.
Okay, so that's the end of the quick fire, and you
Very
handled
good.
that
Did I pass?
You passed.
The hard thing for me, right, is on every single question I could give you a 5-minute explanation as to my reasoning. I'm very good at showing my workings in the margin.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to like some more lengthy questions. Okay. So what was the first joke you ever wrote?
Oh man, the first joke I ever wrote. My first stand-up gig was terrible, or at least it was 7 minutes, and the first 4 minutes were terrible. The last 3 minutes, when I that's my tea arriving. This is thank you so much. This is how rock and roll I am. Right?
Where's our tea?
This is had I known. We can share this mug. So my first ever stand-up gig, I pulled a rubber chicken out of my suit. I said I wanted to find a strong opening, and I put my fingers inside its rubber bottom, pulled it apart and went, how's that for a strong opening? Dreadful, absolutely horrific. And it was only once I'd run out of all these stupid props that I had and started talking that people started laughing, and then I went, oh, this is great, I love this, I absolutely love this. So that was probably the first joke I attempted on stage like that, and before then I'd done kind of like college cabaret things where I'd just done impressions and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is going back, but at school, would you say you were classed as the class clown / funny guy?
Well, yes, I suppose so. I was expelled a lot. 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't think they thought of me as a class clown, just a really irritating, dysfunctional child. So, yeah. But yes, I suppose I was. I mean, I was that thing, that you expect from a comedian. I did the impressions of the teachers. I did funny things behind their backs. I set practical jokes up and stuff. The first school I was expelled from was for burning down the goalposts on the football pitch. So how's that for a practical?
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Not sporty then.
No.
Okay, right. This is a bit of a strange question.
Okay.
Do you constantly... okay, so when you're in social situations, normal, like with family or friends and stuff, do you always feel pressured to be the funny one?
Not anymore. I did for a bit, and people that knew me quite well when I first became a comedian would sort of mention it, and they'd say, oh, Mr. Funny Man or whatever. But everybody I know, and everyone who means anything to me, no longer does the whole this'll end up in your show thing, because it doesn't.
No.
Thoughts occur to you all sorts of times, and you laugh. It's a funny sort of thing that happens, but when you first go into comedy, you're searching all the time for stuff, and actually you end up being a bit joyless. And then because you're
Yeah.
searching for things in quite an analytical way. My favourite thing is to be with friends and family and just laugh helplessly, and then just let that be. And then I find the material that I find elsewhere. Sometimes things happen to you and you go, oh, that's great. That's like a ready-made routine. A lot of my stuff is very political, so I start
Yeah.
with things that are immensely serious. The last 3 shows I've done have been about theology and politics, really. So they've been very heavy subjects, and then I set myself the challenge of making them funny, which is more interesting to me. But
Yeah.
the second half of this show is just a load of silly, funny stories that I just things that have happened to me that make me laugh.
Wow, me and James are excited for that.
Well, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay, best heckle in your career.
Best heckle I ever had, I am going to talk about in the second half of the show, but I was booed on stage at Glastonbury by 60,000 people at once. I was not actually doing a set, I was talking on the Pyramid stage on behalf of CND, and the band on before me were a hardcore American hip-hop outfit called NERD, and they overran.
Oh, okay.
Glastonbury cut their mics, pulled them off stage, the audience went nuts, and the bloke just went, there you go mate, your mic's live. And I stepped forward, and so that was probably the best one.
No pressure.
Yeah, the best one I ever heard. I was not on stage, someone else was, and he was really dying on his arse, which is a miserable thing for a comic. And from the back of the room, a bloke just went, there used to be a pool table in here. Oh, it's the meanest heckle I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, so you're hosting a dinner party, metaphorically.
Yes.
What 4 people would you invite and why?
Real people in my life, or are we talking like famous, anybody from
Anyone.
history?
If you could pick
anybody you could pick,
anyone,
yeah.
so they could be dead, they could be
All right.
mythological.
Well, I mean, obviously the tempting thing is to say George Osborne, Paul Dacre, and who would be another fantastically destructive force in the world? I don't know, some other bastard, and then poison all 4 of us. I think it would be worth sacrificing myself to see that. But no, for pleasure, Stephen Fry has been one of the most exciting people throughout my life. I grew up loving the stuff he did, and then when I met him and worked with him, I sort of choked. Actually, I was so like, oh my god, it's Stephen Fry. But Stephen is so endlessly fascinating on any number of topics, and has a generosity of spirit where he will find the thing that you want to talk about. Obviously on QI he's instructing everybody as to the things that he knows, but in the conversations I've had, and I know a lot of other people who have this experience with him, he makes the effort to find the thing that you're interested in, and allow therefore the conversation to not be incredibly clever Stephen teaching you, but just to discuss. So I would have Stephen Fry there, I think. I might have Gandhi there. People who hate my wishy-washy lefty liberal nonsense will hate this more than anything, but Gandhi taught the British people probably as great a lesson as Winston Churchill taught us throughout the war. He allowed us, through dignity and courage and peace, to leave India without conflict. He showed to us our own brutality without doing the same back to us. He just held a mirror up to our own horrific behaviour, and we left India, and we left badly because of the division of India and Pakistan. But Gandhi I'm a huge fan of. So I'd have him at a dinner party, and also you wouldn't have to cook much, would you? So that's 2, and then one more or 2 more?
One more, and then you say
One more. Incredibly difficult. I'd want someone really funny. Jim Henson. Jim Henson, of course. No question, Jim Henson, who is my favourite human being who's ever lived. He was just a beautiful man, and he'd be quite perfect between Stephen and Gandhi, because he has all of the gentleness and kindness and love of peace and non-violence that Gandhi had, and a wicked sense of humour that I hope that's nice. So all men, what does that say about me? There you go.
Okay, and then one last question to round up. What one object would you take into room 101?
Oh, I was on room 101. If I had to narrow it down, oh man, what did I put in there when I went on? I think I put football in there. I put David Blaine in there.
Oh, does he annoy you?
I put grammar bullies in there. People who go around correcting, like in a greengrocer where someone's put apples and they've put an apostrophe before the S. Leave the greengrocer alone. They've got other things to worry about as to where the apostrophe goes. It doesn't matter, Lynn Truss, you horrible, horrible bully. And I put my appetite in there, because despite my love of food, my appetite has given me all sorts of problems over the years. So I honestly, if I were being serious about this, the thing I'd put in there is my appetite. Yeah. No, I wouldn't want it to go entirely, but the excesses of my appetite I would put in room 101. That is a thing I would very happily live without in the real world. But if you want a really trivial answer, a thing to be condemned, stuck in there absolutely forever, right now, the Daily Mail, for its toxic and corrosive influence on so many otherwise perfectly nice people who read it. They're not bad people who read the Mail, but they have very bad information going in, and so I would put the Daily Mail in there. Horrible paper. Yeah.
Well, this has been a very insightful interview.
Well, there we go, a mixture of funny and serious for you.
But I think that's what I do. That's what you need, a bit of both, don't you? So thank you very much.